Morning, tubers. It's going on 11. It's 70 degrees in the garage. It's Monday, November 11th. Happy Veterans Day to all the vets out there. And I hope my brothers and sisters are having a really good day. And again, thank you for your service. So, got some stuff to talk about. And we'll close the garage. And then we'll go over a few things. So, let me, as soon as the garage closes, so let me spin this around and we'll talk. About 4 weeks ago, had to go to the eye doctor and went to the eye, it was my normal checkup, and went to the eye doctor, and he sat there and he said, okay. He says, I see something in there. He says, I got to get you to a retina specialist. And so he, in turn, got me in the following week into a retina specialist. This was about 4 weeks ago. Went into the retina specialist, and he sat there and said, I hate to tell you, but you got AMD. That's aged macular degeneration on both my eyes. And so basically what that comes down to is I'll lose my central vision. I'll show you some paperwork here in a minute. He sat there and he says, probably 2 to 3 years. He says, we can prolong it with monthly shots in your eyes. And I sat there and I said, okay. And he says, basically your central vision's going. And I said, all right, fine. That was on a Thursday, and I was just in the tank as far as depression was concerned. I sat there and I said, well, there goes the 70s, in my 70s, because I wanted to take the Camaro around and go to car shows with the wife and I and just have fun. And basically what that does is you lose your central vision, you lose your driver's license. So I sat there and I said, okay, that sucks, and so what do I got to do? And I was moping around pretty good around here, feeling sorry for myself, which is not like me. And I called you Dizzy because he's the only person I know that lost sight in one eye and couldn't drive and everything else, and what depression, or what state of depression, or how did he handle it. And we talked for about 30 minutes, and the best thing he said to me is he sat there and he says, what brought me out of my depression and everything else, he says, was YouTube. He says, finding a hobby, finding something that I could still do. And he says, plus my shop working on mini bikes and go-karts. But he says, the biggest thing was, he says, taking it day by day and making every day better than the day that you had before. And that sounded really good and made a lot of sense to me. So, let's show you what this stuff is. So here's the handout the doctor gave me, and if you want to read, that's basically what it is. And if I look at a clock, that's basically what I'm going to see. Again, this is 2 to 3 years, he said, down the road. He says it is going to happen. He can't prolong it with shots in my eyes. So I thought that I'm going to do a bucket list on stuff I want to do where I can still see. And one of them is to finish this at least, or get it damn close to being finished. And so what's left is the interior touch-up on some of the paint, do the front bumper, and so it's going to be a little bit of a push, as big as my wallet, and I'm on a fixed income, can handle. I did pull out, that was the cover that the kid had on the package tray, so I'm going to get ready to trim that up and make it. If you all remember correctly, I cut the package tray back to fit the early Camaro fold-down rear seat in it. So other items on the bucket list are go to the Reno Air Races again with both my sons, and go to SEMA again with both my sons. There's a few other things I want to do with my wife. We've always talked to going to Maui. We've been to just about all the islands except Maui and the Big Island. And so going to Maui with her. And there's a few other things that are on a personal nature, and I won't get into them here. So that's basically it. I apologize for the lack of videos, but I was trying to sort this out and see how I can attack or approach it. Dizzy again gave me really sound advice, and I thank him for that. So with that being said, let's move on to the other projects. We got the ATC in here once the garage floor was cleaned. We have stripped it down. We are having a really hard time getting this plate out. Again, that was where the magneto was, and this is more of a CD ignition system that's going in. That's what went bad on it, and so we're going to have to figure out how we're going to get this out. I'm thinking of putting a couple of screws in there in these holes here, locking a pair of vice grips in, and just start jiggling this thing back and forth and see if I can walk it out. But don't plan on working that today. That's stuff for tomorrow. I'm bouncing all around. If you remember correctly, I had probably close to, I want to say maybe 40 model kits, with about 5 of them being radio controlled boats, because I am in the radio controlled boats. Well, with this coming up, I had to make a decision on what I wanted to do as far as builds are concerned. And radio controlled boats, you're supposed to be able to have fun with them, and I don't think anybody would like me out on the lake cruising my radio controlled boat with me seeing like that. So I'm going to sell all the radio controlled boat kits and equipment, and haven't quite decided yet on how I'm going to do that. eBay has just gotten so dang expensive anymore that they want their pound of flesh and something else, and then Craigslist is you get some pretty weird and shady characters coming and calling you on Craigslist, so we'll have to sort that out when the time comes. So, and the other thing I did is what always probably helps me go along and lets me think a lot and everything. I started another model build upstairs, so let me shut this down, and we'll go up to the model room, or to the hobby room, and I'll show you that. Hang on. Okay, we're up in the hobby room, and I started to build on another balsa wood airplane. It's so there it is. Wanted to change things up on the car, and so to do this, I go back to my second love, which is model building. Automobiles being my first, and I decided to jump back on this and start. I got a lot of kits and take care of this. So I'll do videos time again and show the progress of this build, and we'll go from there. So when I get more, I'll turn this back on later. You can see that we're moving along on building the fuselage. I just glued in this rib. We've got 2 more to do, and we can start putting in the stringers and rotate it around and do the other side. So, hold on. So, when I get these done and we start the stringers, I will, let's see, what does it say? Oh, yeah, you don't do the stringers until it's all together. Okay. Alright. So that's understandable. So we do have some bracing to put on, and then, okay. Alright, cool. So, when I get more, I'll turn this back on later. Here's an update on the Corsair build. The center wing section is done. To bend the balsa wood like that, you had to squirt it with some Windex, get it soaking, and then a little bend. and then use CA and the accelerator to set it. And then that's what we did there. So the center wing section's done. Fuselage is done. I got a few plastic parts, like finished trimming them up, like the exhaust ports to go in and everything else. Rear stab is done, and I think, where is it? And the tail is done. But yeah, this is the leading edge, and we started the outer wings last night, and so we'll get on those and continue to work. So let's get back down to the garage. So there was your update on the Corsair build. I did hear in the Camaro, hold on, let's get a flashlight. If you can see, I put the ashtray in. Okay. And I put an electric antenna in on the back. We got to do some more work on the antenna, but that's where that's at. So this winter, I guess, was going to be working on the interior, getting a few things done. Probably hitting the car then with 3000 grit and finish the buffing it out. And that's about it. Try to make a couple car shows and see Kenny. And whatever it comes. Like Dizzy says, take each day one at a time and make sure you make that day better than the day that you had before. So, with all that said, I'm going to go get some lunch and then probably go work on the Corsair some more. I love working on balsa wood kits. It sort of brings a little peace of mind and mellowness to my life. And this time I could use that. So you guys take care, and as I do more around here, especially on the ATC, Pat and I want to get this thing running by this weekend. And once we get that done, then we'll get this fired up, and I'll show you once we get this running. And we'll go from there. So, you guys all have a good one, and we'll pick this up on the next video. Later.